All right, let's dive into a thought experiment that's, well, it's as fascinating as it is absolutely terrifying. What would actually happen if the world as we know it just completely changed in a single instant? I mean, seriously, just try to imagine it. You wake up tomorrow and it's a totally different planet. And I'm not just talking about lions and whales. I mean, every bird, every fish, every little insect, even your dog or cat, poof, gone in a flash. What would that world even feel like?
The very first thing you'd notice isn't something you'd see. It's what you wouldn't hear. Just nothing. An absolute deep and profoundly creepy silence would just blanket the entire globe.
So let's break down what happens right away in those first few moments. Because that quiet, that eerie silence, that's just the overture to a complete and rapid transformation of everything.
Think about your own morning. That bird song that usually wakes you up? Gone. The buzzing of a bee in the garden? Vanished. That comforting, familiar presence of your pet in the house? Just an empty space. And all the livestock, cows, chickens, you name it, they disappear too, leaving farms and fields deathly still. This isn't just some abstract loss for nature. This is an immediate, personal gut punch for billions of people.
And here's where it gets really scary. That initial shock, it sets off a chain reaction. The silence is literally just the first domino to fall in a massive cascade that unravels the very fabric of life on Earth. At the heart of it all is the food chain. See, everything is connected by what it eats and what eats it. When you take away all the animals, you don't just break a few links in the chain. No, you shatter every single one, all at once, all over the planet. The entire flow of energy that powers our world just stops. Dead. This brings us to one of the first and most catastrophic system failures, pollination. Without bees, butterflies, bats, birds, all of them gone, the huge majority of flowering plants can't reproduce anymore. And that includes most of the fruits, vegetables, and nuts we eat. This leads straight to a massive global crop failure. And on top of that, without animals burrowing and fertilizing the earth, our soil would become sterile and basically turn to dust. So suddenly, you've got two completely different versions of Earth. There's the one we know, vibrant and humming with life. And then there's the after. Silent forests where dead leaves and trees just pile up forever, never breaking down because the insects and microbes that do that job are gone. The oceans? They just become a sterile chemical soup, no longer teeming with life, just empty.
And this is the moment where that natural collapse comes crashing into our world. This isn't an environmental problem anymore, it's an existential crisis for humanity.
So let's look at our food supply, because it gets hit from three sides at once. Boom, 40% of our food production gets wiped out because of the pollination crisis. Another 30% from livestock is just gone instantly. And the last 30% from fishing, well, that vanishes along with everything in the oceans. We are suddenly staring down the barrel of a global famine on a scale that is basically unimaginable. And that food crisis, of course, triggers a complete economic meltdown. The entire agricultural sector, which is a cornerstone of the global economy, it just collapses. The massive, multi-billion-dollar fishing industry simply ceases to exist. Ecotourism? Gone overnight. The economic shockwaves would be instant and they would be absolutely devastating. And we can't forget the mental toll this would take. I mean, humans have lived with animals for our entire existence. Losing that connection, losing pets that are literally members of our families, losing the simple beauty of a bird in the sky. It would create this deep, profound sense of isolation and despair. We'd be completely and utterly alone on a silent planet. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. Let's look at the long-term planetary shift. Because even if, by some miracle, humanity could survive the initial shock, the Earth itself would start becoming fundamentally unstable. This chart basically shows the planet's vital signs. Animals play this absolutely crucial role in keeping everything balanced. The carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle. Life in the ocean is a massive part of what generates the very oxygen we breathe. Without them, the planet's life support systems, the things that regulate our air and our climate, they just break down. Which, of course, leads us to the one big question that this whole thought experiment has been building up to. In this silent, collapsing world, what happens to us? And the verdict? It's pretty stark. In the short term, yeah, maybe. With incredible technology, things like hydroponics and sealed environments, maybe small pockets of humanity could cling to life for a little while. But long term, it's extremely unlikely. We just can't exist separately from a biosphere that actually works. As the planet's systems fail, Earth would simply become uninhabitable for us. End of story.
But look, this incredibly grim scenario isn't just about doom and gloom. It actually has a really profound and vital message for us, right here, right now.
The whole point is about the true meaning of biodiversity. It's not just a nice-to-have collection of cool animals. Think of it as the planet's operating system. It's the complex, interwoven engine that purifies our water, creates our air, and makes Earth a place where we can live.
And that's the thing. Every single creature matters. From a massive blue whale to the tiniest invisible microbe in the dirt, each one has a job. Each one is a vital cog in that machine that keeps all of us alive. When they disappear, it isn't just sad. It's a critical system failure.
And that leaves us with this one last, powerful thought. A world without animals wouldn't just be lonely. It wouldn't just be quiet. It would be a broken planet. An Earth whose fundamental operating system has crashed, reminding us that we aren't just living on nature, we are an inseparable part of it.